Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Mindset Teaching Outside the Box. We're your hosts, Jillian Willie.
And Eileen Edwards.
And today we're going to do a very quick review of all the different topics that we chatted about in the year 2021. That way, if anyone wants to go back and check anything out again or for the first time, you kind of know where to go. And then we're going to move forward to 2022 and give some tips on how you can start to make this the best year ever.
Absolutely.
Exciting.
So our previous episodes, our first 30 episodes in 2021, covered a variety of topics. And the first kind of group of topics that we covered were kind of just basic daily practices that we can use to kind of better our experience, better our life, both for us as parents and teachers, but also for our children. And so the first one that we kind of talked about, which is pretty self-explanatory in the word itself, is gratitude. I know Jillian and I both have gratitude practices.
Yeah, gratitude is really key. And with that, one of the next things we talked about was affirmations. And affirmations can just be a good way to center yourself, to focus on what it is, who you want to be, or something that you want to bring into your world, just by keeping focused on it.
Yeah, it can also change emotions, I've found in children if they use affirmations. And so that's really a good practice. We also talked about presence. And presence can be a little difficult to understand, but you can go back and watch that episode where we talked about, I think we had Ryan Asheimer on, and we talked about the ability to fully live in our present moment. And so that's a good practice to have all day, every day.
Absolutely. And part of what goes with that and can help us be in the present moment was another episode we talked, a couple episodes, I think, actually, about meditation and the importance of meditation, and how meditation is really just about being in that present moment. It's a good way to practice. And it's a really good way to bring about change and who you want to be, and really start to feel how you want to feel. So there's a lot of great things you can do with meditation, but that's a really great practice.
Yeah, you nailed it right at the beginning. Meditation truly is just being fully in the present moment. There's all kinds of ways to do that, and you can look back at our episodes for all of that. Another thing we talked about for daily practices is self-care, which can be challenging, but is so important.
Yeah. I mean, when I think back about self-care, and I know I was so bad at this for the long, and I'm still working on it, I'm still not perfect, but I mean, at the end of the day, everything is a reflection of us. So if we don't take care of ourselves, it's going to reflect in our experiences and what we manifest in our world, in our interactions with people. So self-care is so important.
And especially for parents and teachers and medical staff, if we don't take care of ourselves, we can't, it's not possible to take care of others to the best of our ability. So another one of my favorite topics that we talked about a lot about, and we actually had a few episodes on this, was mindfulness, and having daily mindfulness practices. We gave, I think, 12 different tools that can just be used throughout your day in regular instances and experiences and situations. So really, really important. And I've been reading a book lately by Thich Nhat Hanh, who just passed away. And he describes it as, it truly is an energy. Mindfulness is an energy, and it's an energy that we all have, but we have to use it.
Yeah, that is really good. I do recommend. I mean, all of these are really good, but I think a lot of a lot of what we've talked about, it all kind of stems from mindfulness, because you need to be mindful of where you're at emotionally or what you're thinking about and where you want to go or what you want to do. And then those mindfulness techniques can help us, when we have that awareness, to then take it to that next step. Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's really
Kind of
good.
makes everything else possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
The little things that make a big
Those little
difference.
changes make a big impact. Yeah. Perfect. The next one, another episode we talked about was positive starts to our day. So a lot of the other episodes actually have little things that we talked about even in that episode, like gratitude and affirmations and meditation and self-care and all of these different things. But when you start your day, how you start your day sets you up for what the rest of your day might look like. And that doesn't mean that how you started is like the absolute, this is how your day is going to be. But when you start your day off, feeling one way or another, it just sets you up for success and to bring in more of what you're feeling in the morning. So taking that time to do whatever you want and need for you, because it really does look different for everyone, can be a really powerful way to have a great day.
Yeah. And some of our other episodes kind of took the information that we shared about these daily basic kind of practices that are kind of simple to kind of implement, at least most of them. And then we kind of had other things that were just a little bit deeper, took a little bit of more of practice on the basic things and understanding of those things to be able to kind of take it up a notch a little bit. And so we have a few of those too that we talked about.
Yeah, one of those was goals. And everyone's goals are different, of course, and there's no right or wrong goal, but just how to structure a goal, how to get really clear on your goal, and how to kind of figure out what do you want, because there is no right or wrong. And a lot of times we take on the goals that other people think we should want for ourselves. So that episode was really powerful in how to kind of figure out what you want and how to set that up.
Absolutely. We even talked about like different types of goals, which I think was eye opening for a lot of us.
Mhm.
Another thing was awareness. So we talked about presence, but part of that we went off on to talking about that ability to kind of take in the present moment and really bring our full awareness to each moment. So that was another thing that we had talked about in 2021.
It's a really good first step too, is just to start with your awareness of the present moment, awareness of yourself, and that can kind of pave the way for using these other strategies.
I like how one of the meditation teachers that we've um, been with will often say during a meditation, like, well, where is your awareness right now? And I think that's such a powerful statement. Another episode that we did was this idea of social meditation. And we had Jeremy Nickel from Evolver on um, for social meditation sessions that can happen in virtual reality. And group meditation period is very powerful, but this idea of the social aspect, community aspect that can come with meditation, I think, is really life changing for a lot of people.
Absolutely. It goes back to energy here, because we're all energy. Everything is energy. And when you come together, and you don't even have to physically come together, I mean, you can feel the energy, over the computer, or even when you're not even with somebody halfway across the world, you're not connected by a device, you can still feel energy all, from anywhere. So it's just when you bring yourself together for a common goal, or you know I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for, but when you come together and express your energy, it's so powerful, and you can like feel it too. It's cool.
Yeah. And I think another thing that we talked about that was very powerful, although it was a challenging topic maybe to get started talking about was that idea of faith over fear.
Mhm.
I think our episode was called the F word.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of a topic that a lot of people don't necessarily feel comfortable talking about, but we described how faith truly is like that ability to truly know something, that there is this something that's happening that, kind of is bigger than us. Um, but that like a full belief in something, even if you don't have that like physical evidence.
Yeah, that is, it's so powerful. Um, to have that faith, which, as you said, it is just the knowing. And a lot of people, faith can be, I think we all have, or most people have faith in something. We just call it something different, but it's really the same thing,
Exactly.
no matter what you call it. And that episode is really about having the faith and the knowingness rather than investing our time and energy in the fear, because fear is such a powerful negative emotion or feeling that we fear so many things that really are not designed to be feared of, if that makes sense. Like, most of the things we're afraid of have nothing to do with our actual well-being. A lot of them just come from what society says we should be afraid of, or our environment, or other people, friends, family, whomever it is. So yeah, having that faith rather than fear.
I think that really comes back to that ability of having a presence practice and full awareness,
Mhm.
because um, fear won't exist in this present moment. Like it's the things that we are thinking about, the future, that kind of bring those feelings in. But if we just sit in our present moment awareness and
Mhm.
know that there is this just knowing, I think that that's really powerful.
Sure.
We had a couple of episodes on manifestation.
Good.
Two of them.
Yeah. It's a hot topic, but I think what's really interesting about manifestation is there are so many pieces and layers to it. And I think people kind of get confused, or they don't get the whole piece of the puzzle, because not everything that's out there is completely accurate. So I think those episodes are really powerful because we really do break it down into all of the steps of manifestation. And it's just so great because we're doing it all the time, even if we don't realize it. And to be able to take it to that next level and consciously create and choose what you're bringing into your world and your experience, it's a really powerful, it's a powerful way to step into your power.
Absolutely. I totally agree. Especially, it's like we do this anyway. So why
Mhm.
not do that from a place of um, inspiration and creation, instead of um, that idea that, it's happening, without our knowledge. Uh, Now, something that kind of that we talked about, which um, can kind of interfere, is limiting beliefs. We had Poonam Sharma on our podcast at one point, who has a book about limiting beliefs and being able to um, rid ourselves of those. Um, I never really knew that those existed until I started kind of studying all of this. And then I was like, oh my gosh, no wonder that that's happening, because it's coming from this. And so we did talk about limiting beliefs in a few episodes, but some of them more specifically.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really, I love the word powerful. I keep going back to it, but it is really powerful to realize what is holding you back. And a lot of times, and this has happened to me, like I don't even realize, I'll say like, no, I have no limiting beliefs. Nothing's holding me back. But then when I really dig deep and think about it, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, there's usually something. And then once you can be aware of that, go through the process of removing the limit, then your world just opens up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We also had Dr. Matt Singer
Mhm.
on. We talked about energetic healing and all of those different modalities, uh, which I think is becoming more and more prevalent in our world right now. People, seeking to do things energetically and working on trauma and healing in ways that don't involve um, necessarily um, chemicals and medicines and there's just so much going on in our world right now. So I think that was a really eye-opening episode.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I enjoyed that a lot. And it is so amazing that we can truly heal ourselves of anything, whether it's something as simple as a headache or allergies, all the way to the chronic, like cancer and arthritis. I mean, I've since done a lot of research. I've studied like Joe Dispenza and some of the other greats. And it's just the stories are so incredible. And I know it's inspired me a lot. And I actually this week on Monday, I started getting like a congested, the cold kind of thing. And typically those kind of things last like 2 weeks for me, but I have been working on healing and working on myself and healing my other things I got going on, and it's gone, and it was gone by Friday. And I'm like, it's never happened before that quickly. So it is very powerful energetic healing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Unlimited potential and letting go of expectations is something that we also looked at in a few episodes. We had an event where I led a letting go of expectations meditation as well. Um, and we talked about how um, it's not just the expectations that we have for others that can be healing, but letting go of expectations that we have for ourselves and how much that opens us to this like really truly unlimited potential, and that these expectations can actually limit us and others.
Yeah, when you place, I think I've done a lot on this too. I think when you put the expectation, and we talked about this, but when you put the expectation on something, that's coming from a place of you want it so bad, and then that's a lack feeling. So then it's a negative energy. So that's kind of why we say don't expect. Um, because at the same time, you want to align to the things that you would want to come. So it's a whole thing, but there's definitely a difference between, expectation and alignment.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And speaking of alignment, we had episodes on I think it was 3 episodes on the study of, it's kind of goes along with manifestation, but this idea of the law of attraction, science of deliberate creation, and the art of allowing, even segment intending. We did like I think it was like maybe 3 parts or so, where we talked about the work of Abraham Hicks, Esther Hicks, and we talked about these things where, like we said, the law of attraction, it's already happening. And so we want to make sure that it's not necessarily that we're putting things out into the universe that wouldn't be in line with what we would desire or want, and deliberately creating our reality, um, and allowing it to come. And I think that the steps that we gave people for manifestation kind of really align to those, because we have that ask that we put out, but then we just believe in it and let it go. And I think that kind of goes through a lot of what those episodes were discussing.
Yeah, it's all connected, and as our viewers, and I know as I've explored all of these concepts, I start to see the connection and how it's not, they're not the same, but they're the same because they're connected. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yes, it does.
But yeah, there's just all these overlaps and connections, and it is, when you put all of these things in action, it is so amazing how your life can change. um, and that art of allowing is really about allowing other people to live their life and to have their thoughts and opinions, and to be okay with it, and not to push our beliefs and our things onto them. Because when you can do that, then it's freeing. We
It
can
is.
all coexist and be doing our own thing and get along and be happy without pushing our views onto other people.
Yes. And so a lot of what we just talked about, these last things, were these practices for having a future that we design, which I think is a great thing to be talking about at the beginning of a new year. Um, I know Jillian and I have had an event where we did like a manifestation type of thing, like a vision board um, experience. I personally set at the new year, I don't set resolutions. That is not something that I do, but I set a mission, like a personal mission for the year. It's kind of like an intention or vision, um, but getting ourselves in a place where we're setting off this new time period, I guess, with a new intention. And so that's the practice that I've gone through. I'm sure, Jillian, you've done something similar. And so we were just going to take a little bit of time to talk about, looking forward to 2022.
Yeah, it is. It's a good time. And I think this is that time when it is so common for everyone to think, we reflect on the year we had, we think about where we're headed or what we want. But then I think a lot of people, they lose that momentum, usually around now, like the end of January. And I love that you said that you don't set resolutions, because resolutions are designed to fail. Like they're goals without much, like without that inspiration behind them. Because there's a difference between motivation and inspiration. And a lot of the times we start out with motivation, and motivation, I kind of look at it more as move, motivation, moving. And we start out strong. We start, just to give an example, I know a lot of people set like weight goals, or, I'm going to go to the gym. So we start out strong. We get a gym membership. We go for maybe a week or two, and then it's okay. No, it's cold. I don't want to get out of bed. One day won't hurt me. And then we don't go anymore. So we lose that motivation. But when you're coming at it from inspiration, that means in spirit. And when you use the manifestation process and the laws that we've talked about to work towards something that truly inspires you and aligns to your passion of what actually matters to you, not what other people think you should be wanting to do, then you're moving in spirit, or you're working through spirit. So it can be a lot easier to maintain your progress, and it doesn't have to be hard either.
No, and it's, I like that you said, like, what other people think or expect. Like, it's not about society's norms or past conditioning or these patterns that are, passed down from generation to generation. It's not about that at all. And I love how you mentioned this, the word inspiration, because that's what it is for me. It's like when I come to this process of ending one calendar year and beginning another, I do that reflection piece. So I reflected on how I was able to be successful in meeting my personal mission for 2021. Each mission for at least the last 3 years, as I've started to learn all of this, have been a success. Whether it was last year, my mission was to give grace and gratitude, which was a perfect thing for the experience that we were going through as teachers in a pandemic, and but also myself through that life, giving myself grace, giving gratitude for all that is. And that's just a practice that I have now. So it's not that I'm not doing that anymore. I'm still doing that, but it's a habit now. Like I just do it. And my new personal mission for 2022 is something that kind of evolved over the course of those last months. It's like, well, what is limiting me now? What is keeping me from more inspiration, more presence, more? And it was this idea of being able to truly let go, letting go of those things that are, so it wasn't about specifically weight or professions or any of that stuff. It's that working on and setting an intention to be able to truly let go and grow. And so that act of letting go will allow me and others around me to grow. And so I think that that came to me through inspiration and reflection. And those practices have already been started and put into place. And I see it come up in every single day. I see it. And so I like that you brought up that idea of inspiration. Inspiration isn't necessarily something that comes from others. It's a feeling of alignment that comes from within. And so it's a huge difference from like setting a resolution.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's a good way. I think that's a good way to kind of explain the true difference between the two. And I love how you kind of shared what your mission is. And I think it's really powerful when it comes from a place of more of this is like a lesson I want to learn, or this is how I want to feel. That's not to say that we can't have physical things that we want, because it's good to have those
Oh
too,
yeah.
more of the goals. But when you, for example, letting go, when you focus on that, then you're going to be impacting all of the other areas of your life, and you're going to make room to bring in and attract the things that you want, because they're going to be more in alignment with how you're feeling. And again, like it's all connected. And this is actually an epiphany I had yesterday, believe it or not, which I shouldn't be surprised that this is all coming up now, because that's exactly the way the universe works. But I just had this epiphany yesterday that like something that I've wanted hasn't been coming. And I realized that I have been fighting working on something within myself. And I just need to stop forcing the outside world. And I need to
Yes.
just go within and work on the one thing that is, or, I'm sure there's more than one, but work on what's limiting me and just focus on me, and the rest will come, and just let go of it. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah. We have to really move away from the idea of needing to set up or control or change the outside, and go within to that inspiration. And even like you said, like setting goals, when we did our event on like a vision board, we talked about it's about those big ideas, those big desires, those deep desires. It's these big things. It's not, that I want to necessarily have, say, $20,000 in my bank account by such and such. Do you know what I mean? Like it's these big things. What are these big desires that we have? These things that come to us. I think you called them C type goals. Those things that you're like in your head, you're like, there is no way that this could even, I desire to be this way or have this, but there's no way. That's what we're talking about here. Setting your year off in a place where, looking back, you'd be like, I never thought that was possible. But truly letting go and letting the universe bring it to us, because everything already exists. Everything is energy. It's already out there. It's just a matter of um, getting it into our reality.
Exactly. Exactly. I love that you said that. Because truly nothing is impossible. And there are so many examples, even within our world today. They've been here for so long that we don't even realize it. But I love to go back to like the example of like, look, whatever you're listening to this episode on or watching it on, your device of any kind. I mean, there was a time where that was inconceivable, that there would never be a phone that fits in your pocket that does a million other things. And we, at this point, it's just common. But I think when we can kind of step back and say, wow, there's so many things like that, it kind of shows us. And there are a million examples in the world. People have stories of coming from absolute nothing to being millionaires. I mean, nothing is impossible. You're absolutely right. It is just a matter of aligning to that reality because it already exists.
Yeah, aligning, I think, is the key thing. It's, again, it's all energy, but not needing to know the how. That's the thing that gets me all the time. It's like, we don't need to control it. We don't need to be able to decide steps A, B, C, and D that are going to get us. It's not the how, it's the allowing part, like just getting in an alignment, and then being able to just attract it. Creating through inspiration, and allowing things to come. Setting intentions are fine, setting a mission is fine, but then not getting tied up in all the little details. That's kind of like outside stuff.
Yeah, because I've heard a quote where we have no business knowing how things come to us.
Mm.
And I think Joe Dispenza, if I understand correctly, I think he puts this well, is that a lot of times we try to change matter with matter, but we need to change matter with energy. So when we're so focused on how's it going to happen, how's it going to happen, we are living in the physical world, in the matter world, with matter, trying to change it. And that's why we're either like, we don't see how it's possible, or it takes forever to get there, or whatever it is. But when we can become more energy, and that's where the alignment comes in, how you feel, that's energy. So when you align to it with how you're feeling and you just let it go and let the universe do its job, what you want will literally fall into your lap. And it'll be in a way that you don't expect, because it's coming to you from that unknown place, that place we were just talking about, where there's infinite possibility. So we're not going to know how it's coming to us, but it's going to come to us if we allow it to and we align to it.
Absolutely. So I think that's just a perfect way for us to, start off this new year, with being in alignment and allowing, creating out of inspiration. It'll just come to us. It really will. Well, but we have to kind of let go of those limiting beliefs, let go of that trying to control everything and everyone, and just allowing others and situations to be as they are, and it'll come.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if anyone is watching this on our YouTube channel or in our Facebook group, feel free to comment. Let us know, what are you working toward? If you have any goals or intentions or lessons that you want to learn or questions that you have, we're always so excited to interact with our viewers and continue building our community.
Absolutely. And for moving forward, um, we're probably going to release our videos more not necessarily on a weekly Wednesday schedule like we have in the past. We've done a lot of work already in this first year. Um, and so moving forward, we'll be sure to let everyone know um, on our Facebook page, on our Facebook group, in our YouTube channel. We'll let everybody know when a new episode is coming. We'll have some more guests coming too. Um, and so I'm very excited to start 2022 Mindset Teaching Outside the Box.
We got this. This is going to be a year of growth and expansion and letting go for all of us. So, as always, we are so grateful for our viewers, and we'll see you next time.